All right, and we're back. Thank you so much for joining us today again. I'm Jason Levine here with Andrew Scrivani. Day 2 of Adobe live photography in the studio here in San Francisco at Adobe HQ, and welcoming you back. So great. Hopefully you got to see Lita and Wade just now in part 2 of what they're creating. And today, Andrew, we're going to take, yesterday we were focusing on creating natural light in the studio with some very interesting techniques. And it's cool because I was telling you before, we had people in the chat saying, hey, it must be a real cloudy day in San Francisco. So they must have joined late, not realizing that you had kind of staged that to create the natural light.
And if that's how it read, then we did our job yesterday for sure.
Success.
Absolutely.
But today we're going to do something a little different. So yesterday we were also focusing on pastry specifically. Mm-hmm. Today we're going to work on...
Well, I have the special from the Adobe Cafe.
From the cafe, okay.
Yeah, I got this
croissant
lovely croissant.
Okay, croissant, okay.
Yes. Right. So we're going to shoot that, and then I think we're going to play around with some beverages.
Awesome. Okay. And what's the lighting? Now, today you're actually using strobe lights, correct? Okay.
So now today I'm going to create 2 different strobe setups. One is a single strobe setup that will emulate daylight, and then the second will be a 2 strobe setup that will kind of do sort of a cross lighting kind of even fill shot, which we'll use for our beverages.
Awesome.
Just to kind of get a clean commercial beverage look.
Very nice.
So that should be good. We may even set up like a little silhouettable sweep.
Cool. Yeah,
we'll do that a little, and instead of relying on our single birch tabletop surface today. So
And remember, of course, we have a live interactive chat while we're going to be in the studio shooting live. You'll see the whole setup. We've got a GoPro over there, which Michael can switch to now and just kind of show you this is happening live. And tell us where you're from. Say hello. So hello, Vanessa, Kelsey, Cam Recorder, El Darvo. Hey, Rob Zilla is with us. Rob Generette III. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And it's going to be really cool. I mean, we had a lot of fun yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And this is live and rogue, and we're testing and making stuff as we're going and seeing how it all works.
Yeah, we're trying not to trip over the wires.
That's right.
And
a lot of cables.
A lot of wires.
Today we're going to have hot lights too, which we didn't have yesterday. It's funny.
So
Lita and Wade just before were taking these images, and a few times we had it very close to her while she was like behind the screen there, and it was super hot. I mean, so we're going to be right there. Also, maybe I thought we could take a look just kind of at some of the finals of yesterday, and some of your kind of preferred favorites,
which is what I'm doing now
in
as
Lightroom.
We speak in Lightroom.
And we will again be tethering directly into Lightroom this time around, so you'll get to see the image as it's coming right off the camera. And you're shooting 5D Mark IV. 5D
Mark IV. Mm-hmm. We're using ProPhoto heads. I'll be diffusing both of them significantly, and we'll see where we go from there. I have some little tricks up my sleeve. We're going to go and show you what the Great Gourmet magazine used to do to shoot food and their lighting techniques. So we'll show you that in the late great Gourmet magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and are you going to be doing? You swapped out lenses a couple times yesterday. Probably doing the same thing today.
Yeah, I'll work with my 50 millimeter macro and my 100 millimeter macro, and then if we decide to get a little further away from the table, I'll break out the regular 50 prime.
The 1.2, yeah, very nice. All right,
no zooms.
No zooms. That's right, and we'll probably get more into that again as Andrew's in the process. Hello from Ecuador, Israel. Hello from New York, Kent. Hello from Australia. Very nice to have you with us.
Kent's my homie from New York.
That's right. Hey, Nige. Matthias from the Netherlands.
Cartagena.
Judah's back with us from Cartagena. Very nice to see you again. Nice. All right. So, we've already got you on screen. Perfect. So this was
this was my favorite shot from yesterday, and it was on your behest because you asked me to do the on the fly, do my dark background situation.
Right. Yeah.
So
kind of your signature too.
And I'll explain how we did this yesterday. So we had our kind of cross-raking light, that kind of window light that we created here. So we were working a sunlight situation, filtered because our window was frosty.
Right.
And then I added just a little bit of fill back on the other side with a white card. And then I dropped in a black flag behind our set to just deaden out the background. Shot it at a relatively soft 4.0 aperture, and I shot it with what was the what else was I just thinking about? I had, when you talk live on camera, You forget stuff.
That's right. You're trying to say so much.
The older you get, the worse it gets.
Oh, I can attest to this, brother.
Right.
Philadelphia, love that, Rob. Hello from Africa. We got some people from Hoboken, Chicago, Peru.
How's the weather in Africa today?
Yeah. Hey, so actually, while you're thinking, and I think you talked about this a lot yesterday, Judah's asking, why no zooms? For food, especially.
Again, I think one of the primary reasons is I think the primes are sharper, and secondly, I feel like as a photographer, you should get used to a frame that you're really comfortable in.
Right.
And zooming has a tendency to you're adjusting the camera to the setting rather than using the frame that's available to you. And I feel it's definitely. You become a better photographer when you master the frame. This was the
hashtag yesterday. Mm-hmm. Master the frame. Master your particular, whether it's a 50 or a 100 or an 85, whatever. Yeah, I love this idea.
I think it's important to become adept at doing what you do and keeping it as simple as possible. Right. And when you master something, make it your own, then it's a much better situation long term. Yeah, awesome. So this was my personal favorite. I remembered what I wanted to say. Oh, you did? Okay. I shot it with the 100mm. That's right. Oh, okay. Yes. That one just went in. It does come back around. It's amazing. The brain, what's Vanessa's saying? I actually want to buy food texture. Want to buy food texture? Interesting. Well, I will sell you some food texture. That's right. Along with the Brooklyn Bridge. That's right. Okay, I have any flash nice advice. Yeah, no, this is master the frame. Totally, right? Master the frame. This is essential too. And I think it also made a good point because you were also talking about, how primarily you're shooting, f8 or f4 or slightly, sometimes wide open if the particular situation and the light allows you to do that. Yep. But that trend was something was technology driven. Right. The trend in the early parts of food photography, it being super shallow, was more technology driven than style driven. Right. Because we just couldn't get enough out of the cameras. Right. So we just opened the lens up as wide as we could, and we had this tiny little point of focus. That's right. And now what's happening is we've swung back the other way completely, and now clients are asking for focus stacking so that we can get beyond that 4.0, 4.5 without kind of crashing into our backgrounds. Right. So by doing a focus stack, you can kind of get everything on the plate in focus and still retain that soft look. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely coming back around. And now that we have more technological kind of ability to mess with these frames and master them and mess with them. Now, yesterday you also did some of the top-down shots using the FOBA, that massive dolly rig stand that we have over here with the whoopie pie. Yep. And this was the one that I. That was the select. Yeah. Oh, I had done. I know where. Hold on. I have. That's right. You did a separate export into Photoshop. I have it somewhere. And the key here was, again, so you had it mounted on the FOBA, and we were really focusing on the details with this one. I'm gonna quit Lightroom for a second. Yeah. And you can skip this time. Yeah. We'll do the backup next time. That's right. Where did it go? Yeah. Where did it go? Oh, Vanessa's saying, you're currently making food in Moto 3D. Ah, that's right. Oh, yes. Vanessa does a lot of 3D modeling. Oh, wow. Yeah. Cool. So that's interesting too, because I was asking Andrew yesterday, and people in the chat were asking, do you ever use sort of prop food? And of course, the answer was no. It's always real. Nothing's ever added to the food that isn't something that you would normally add, whether it's maybe a water droplets or oil or something, but nothing to make it inedible during the process. Nope, real food. Real food. We try really hard to keep everything edible. Today we may lose a few beers. I know that's a sacrilege, but I have a trick. That could just be while I'm your assistant on set, actually. Well, that's true. That's possible. We're going to have. I'm going to show you a little food styling trick that I think you'll enjoy with some beverage photography. So that'll be a teaser. Another teaser. So on my screen now is we have the whoopie pie from yesterday. This was kind of post-production, and we just removed a few of the blemishes and kind of cleaned up some of the things I found distracting about the frame. We could have done all kinds of massive things to this if we wanted to, but it retains its charm of as a local whoopie pie. Right, a local. It's local. It's local. Starbucks down the street. Oh, that's huge behind us on the screen. Really yeah. Again, you can really see the details. Sure. And you made a good point, and of course this screen, not quite. Yeah. It's a little more blown out. You're seeing more detail here.
the plate, how that also lends itself to the image.
The plate has this tendency with the rippling effect is by using a soft depth of field, it actually looks like this thing is being dropped into a glass of milk.
Right.
Of course, it's a glass of milk the size of the building.
The size of the building, right? Yes.
Yeah. No,
well, we have that here.
It's the vat. It's the vat.
That's how we chill out after the stream.
We all sit in the bath.
The milk bath.
In the milk bath. Yeah. Nice.
It's getting weird. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's where the Joker hangs out.
I know. Right. Exactly. Yeah. No. So this one, I mean, this was so fantastic, and again, it was another point here too, which I made yesterday was you got this in about two or three shots. I mean, there were just a few tests for lighting, but I made that point yesterday that how do you get, or asked you, how do you get to that point? Because you were really like, we got it.
Yeah, I think when you're trying to set up a shot, and this is a relatively simple shot, once you feel that the food is where you want it to be, which is one of the bigger challenges, right? And again, we're not working with a food stylist while we're doing this, but once I'm comfortable and confident that the food is what I want, and I'm making the shot that I had planned out ahead, if the light's right, that's it. Three shots and done. Out.
If the light's right, that's it. You're full of hashtags today.
I am.
I know.
The hashtag machine.
The hashtag machine.
So we had some questions yesterday, and it seems like it's coming back around here. And maybe it's good to kind of handle this before we step out on the set. Is about food styling.
Yeah, Guillermo was just asking that. Yeah.
Guillermo's question about how do you go about finding a prop stylist in any city where there's professional photography happening. There would be people, and they have websites, and they have Instagram handles, and they have all of that kind of promotional material. And then the other thing is when you are starting out, and a food stylist is starting out, and you're starting out as a photographer, it's good to make a team.
Right.
Because it's hard to find good stuff to shoot.
Right.
As a food photographer, if you don't do your own cooking, you don't do your own styling.
Right.
So hooking up with somebody local and then kind of partnering up is a really good way to go about things.
Right.
And honestly, if you're already at a professional level as a photographer and you want to work with good stylists, just seek them out through even the magazines that you work with, or if you're working with agencies, they know, or agents. They have, like the people who represent me also represent stylists.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So you could find them that way as well. And it's very, it could be local.
Right. And you made a point about that yesterday too, with regard to like you cook. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that was kind of part of the drive too, was like you cook, and you shot images, and you kind of married the two.
Yeah.
And we're making sort of beautiful, tasty creations. Now you wanted to capture them and sort of preserve that idea. So yeah.
And I think that doing some of your own styling is really helpful too, because you really want to get to know the food.
Right.
You want to meet the food. You want to hang out, have a few drinks, and then once
this is the New York coming out right now.
Once things start to get going in the right direction, you and the food,
things can happen.
And then you turn the camera on, and it just gets wacky.
Oh, and Adrian is asking, yes, these are actual photos, not 3D renderings. Yeah, I mean that's it, and that's the funny thing. No,
that's real.
Yeah,
that's the real deal, right out of the camera.
Very nice.
Very light.
Very light
glossing. Yeah.
So what do you say we hit the set?
Okay.
And get working.
Let's do it.
You think it? Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to transition over, and you're going to see us now. Again, we are live in the studio here as Andrew starts to move over, and we're going to plug in a couple things, turn on a couple things, and you're going to see a live photo shoot in action. All right. Here we go.
So. Set up. So I cleaned out my set like I did yesterday, like I do all the time, to try to give myself the room I need to move around. And then I left a few things out because I wanted to kind of show you as we go how I like to move everything into its position before we start to work. We're gonna have a little less real estate today, because we have to, all right, leaders leaving eyeballs around. What happens when you share your studio with some wacky graphic designers? I don't shoot food on blue. It's not a joke. It's actually true.
Right.
I don't shoot food on blue very often, only when it's really necessary as far as art direction is concerned, or somebody actually asks me specifically to do that. But blue and food aren't necessarily compatible, if you think about it. we can have as much of a debate as you like. If you think about it, there are not that many blue foods in the world, and the ones that are not really blue, they're purple. For some reason, evolutionarily, humans and blue don't get along because we don't eat blue stuff. So we have a psychological reaction to blue that tells us that it's not really something we should be eating. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to put food and blue together that often because it's actually it's an appetite suppressant.
Interesting.
The psychology of food photography.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go over some of the gear we're going to work with today because I want you to be familiar with how we're going to work. We're back on our FOBA stand, FOBA, not PHOBA, and obviously it's night here in San Francisco because our windows are dark today. No, it's not night, but it might as well be. What I said yesterday, first thing I do, get this out of the way because it will give me a concussion. This is a Profoto strobe head, and we're going to use 2 of these today. The way we trigger them is through these remote control transceivers. This sends a signal to here, where we have another one, and then this one sends a signal to the second one if we're running 2 lights at the same time, or 6 or 10, or however many lights you're using. Today we're just going to use 2. We're going to use this one primarily, and then we're going to use a second light here when once we do our beverages. So I want to show you now this. Oh, you know what I was missing before? I couldn't find the silk that we had.
Oh.
It's in this bag.
Yeah.
It's around here somewhere. Oh, found it.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. It was hidden behind this before.
Okay. You noticed, by the way, the barrage of sandbags.
Yes.
That was one of the key takeaways, I think, that everybody enjoyed from yesterday.
Yeah.
Sandbag those C-stands.
That's it.
Sandbag it all.
So this is a silk that we're going to use today, and this is the light diffusion material that we're going to use. This sometimes goes on a big metal frame, like the one you see over here with the opal in it from yesterday. We're going to use this today with our V-flat and some A-clamps. I may actually need to get up on the ladder too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this away because I need to put my V-flat over here. So I got this big 8-foot V-flat. I'm going to open it up and create this. Sort of like the Irving Penn kind of room that he shot people in. Then I take this strobe head and I aim it right into the V-flat and sandbag. Okay, this is step 1. Once I have this here, then I take this and I'm going to drape it over the top and create something like a phone booth where this light is now diffused twice. It's getting diffused by bouncing into the V. It's getting diffused the second time when it bounces out through the silk. It doesn't mean I can't do it a third time, but actually, you're taller than I am.
You want me to try and get that other?
Yeah.
By the way, Andrew, someone's asking, so Estuardo's asking, would a strobe with 500 watts be enough for food photography?
It's more than enough. I'm going to dial it down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's we don't want it to be too hot because if it does, we're just going to not be able to get our depth of field.
Right.
That's the thing. We're going to have to shoot at 100 ISO.
Mm-hmm. Right, where yesterday we were at 400 for the first batch, I think, and 800 for the whoopie pie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now we'll be at 100, and I'll talk about how we're gonna dial this in here too, because it'll be a little bit trial and error, to see how we can get our light going.
And Claire was asking if you could talk a little bit more about the colors that work well in food photography.
Well, I think the natural colors of food, particularly things like green. Well, I want to pin it here and there, so it's just over the.
Can I just reach?
I think you could. So if you did Yeah, you totally can reach.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So just clip that to the corner. Here. So this is how Gourmet Magazine did it, or at least how they were doing it at the end of their run, because pull it taut. Okay. Can you get in there? Hold on.
Oh yeah, there's a mic. Okay.
Okay. Looping in behind you. There we go. Okay. So once that's set up, go as high as you can.
Okay.
Yep. And then actually give me a little bit more room to open up.
Okay.
You can pull that toward you a little bit. Pull the V flat toward you.
Okay.
And open up the face. Yep, that's good. Yep, that should be good.
Is this tight enough? Or?
Oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna just kind of clamp it off a little on the edges so it doesn't leak. But I think that's good. I'll need one side to get in and out.
Okay.
Woo! All right, we're working. We're working.
Here, you know, Michael, if you want to disable the blue one for a sec, I'll...
Where are our assistants?
Assistants, plural.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I'm gonna turn that thing on. Is that on? Yes. All right. All right, so I'm turning this on. I think. Aha, we're on. So I'm going to dial this down to about half power to get a couple of tests going. Get my old trusty light meter out.
Pardon my moving. We've got stereo miking on set today, so we can pick you up without having to worry about moving around so much.
So first thing we do, test it. We're working. So it's up and running. Now I'm going to use my light meter. And we're going to set it at 100 ISO. And I'm going to do this, keep it under the sync number, which is about 200. So I'm going to keep it at 125, which is fine. And I'm going to set it on what's called the non-chord setting, because it's going to read the strobe light as it pops. So I put the bulb toward the light, click it, and then pop. Okay, so at half power, that's giving me 283, which is about 3.2 on which is a little bit not enough power. So that's good, because now it means if I push this up to 3/4 power, it's probably going to put me right where I want to be. So we'll try 3/4 power.
Raj is asking, are those Profoto B1s?
They are.
They are, okay.
They're not mine.
Yeah.
I actually like Broncolor too. Broncolor is a really nice true color for food. Even needs a little less filtering. Okay, so 3/4 power is too much. So now we're at 5.68, which is like 6.3. So we're gonna now go back in between there somewhere. See if we can get at that butter zone we like, the 4.5. There we are. It's a little closer to 5, but it'll do. And we can always adjust a little bit on this because we got a little room with shutter. Right. The shutter doesn't matter as much with strobe lighting. It's not like using daylight because it's really more about the time of the amount of light that's flashing rather than the actual shutter speed.
Right, okay. Excellent.
We're not going to get into the math of that one.
Right. No. All right, and here's your tether.
Yep. We're going to do
Mr. Scrivani. Sounds very James Bondy.
Yeah.
All right, let me close light too.
Okay. So we have this lovely breakfast sandwich.
Looks delicious. Got some bacon on there.
There's some bacon, some Swiss, some wilting greens. All right. I am plugged in. Start tether, and then I will set the camera once.
And you're good with the view right there?
Yeah, I'm good. I can see everything.
Okay, we're getting a no camera detected.
That's because I didn't turn it on yet. Sorry.
Okay.
Turn the camera on, man.
Right. All right, looks like we're good.
Okay.
Do a test and see if we're
So I said I would be at 100 ISO and at 125th of a second at 4.5. So let's see. Right off the bat, we also might be a little close here.
Okay.
So I maybe have to back out a little bit. Oh. It's actually not too bad. First shot.
All right, there we go.
Okay, so I can definitely angle my food a little bit more toward the light just to pick up a little bit. And then I got to break out my little card action here.
So Guillermo was asking, so is there a specific reason why you're using this setup as opposed to using a softbox?
Yeah, because I don't have a softbox this big,
right. Okay.
and this is that idea that we talked about yesterday with the biggest light source you can create.
Right.
You know, if you had a big Octabank,
right,
or you had a huge softbox, but honestly, it's really hard to put a softbox this big on any head.
Sure.
The one that we have over here,
right,
which is maybe the biggest one we have in set.
Sizable, but not quite.
It's sizable.
Right.
I could shoot with this if I wanted to, but again, this is. In a softbox, the light's coming directly out of this. I don't have the opportunity to redirect it to the back of the softbox and then bounce it out through it. So it's both a technical and an artistic choice, because it's technical because you don't get a softbox that big, and it's artistic because the idea is that I'm not redirecting the light twice. I'm only filtering it once.
Right.
Here, again, if we want to just take a peek under the hood here, which is actually not a bad idea. As we're going, I'm going to pin this back for a second, just so we can go over the logistics of it again.
Yeah.
So here's the Profoto head bouncing into the V. So when you fire this, voila. That was from Michael.
Right, okay, right.
Okay, you can see how it bounces in, creates this much bigger light source, diffused light source, and then pops through this silk. So it's diffused twice, which is knocking it down. So it's essentially like if you're out in the field trying to shoot video on a bright day.
Right.
And you got ND filters knocking down your light, knocking down your light,
Which
knocking
you
down
have
your
to
light.
have, right.
Yeah, it's the same concept of having ND filters.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so
Because I was asking, so what is the power of this?
this is a 500 watt head, and we have it at about
50%.
50%-ish, a tiny bit more.
Oh, a tiny bit more. Okay. Yeah.
It's at like 65%.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, I'm gonna try now to give ourselves a little bit of pushback here.
All right. I'm gonna get creative with that.
Whoop. Dang! Look at that. Okay. Here we are. So I angled the food. A little bit in. And I gave it a little bit of pushback.
Oh, wow.
And look,
wow,
we're picking up a very daylight-esque kind of feel here.
Now, what's crazy is you were absolutely getting that look from the side, which you described yesterday.
Yeah.
Without having the blown out highlights, but again, kind of feeling how the light's coming through the windowsill.
Yeah, because we're picking up some spectral highlight here, and it goes a little bit off to shadow here, but it's still got enough. It still has enough heft.
Right.
You know, the light is still giving us enough. It looks really nice on that monitor.
It looks really, yeah.
We're looking at like 6 monitors
here,
so you know, like which one? Take your pick. Which one you like the most?
Many different ways to see everything. Oh, there's Michael over there. Hello, Michael.
There he is.
Yeah,
all right. So, okay, let's say now we wanted to do what we did yesterday and drop the black card behind and give this more of a dramatic look, or even use that black flag as a surface. So let's try that. And I'm going to show you something about using a single flat surface to get an effect. Because just by angling your camera, you can you don't have to be at complete table level to get that look you want. with the black background. You can actually shoot it on a flat surface if you angle your camera the right way. So now, instead of being down here, I can kind of come up a little bit and pick up that. Now check this out.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty dramatic. And again, I see, but I made a mistake. I angled the cheese away from the camera rather than towards the camera to pick up, the light, sorry, not the camera.
Yeah.
So by changing that angle again, let's do a side by side after this to show you the difference. A little bit higher angle so I could use that surface as a background. And now, yeah, so we see that light ridge right on the edge of the cheese totally tells us where our light's coming from. It gives us a real.
Oh yeah.
So now we're into those sort of like those pictures I took for the museum.
Right. Yeah.
It's still got that jumping out of black look.
Right.
It's not as sharp though because I'm not using two lights.
Right.
So if I do this again with the second light, once we start playing around with the second light, you'll see I can kind of do that crisscross and kind of balance out the light a little bit more.
And again, people should realize too, so for these, still handheld, we're ISO 100, 1/125th second, yeah. It's crisp enough, you've just got the exact look, you're capturing all that light just as it is.
Yep, and then if you wanted to do something like kind of a little bit more artistic or abstract, and I like the idea, especially when we're using strobe lighting, to go a little abstract at times.
I'm just scrubbing through so they can see the details. And they'll note too, we don't have any blown out highlights. It's just perfectly exposed, which was something that you had talked about yesterday. And then again, it's going to fall off into shallow depth of field here. Partially why you don't process your images all that much, because you're getting it right.
That's right.
You're getting it right, like on set in the
camera, and then it gives you that much more freedom if you did want to start messing with the frame.
Right.
So there's some interesting things happening with this sandwich, right? Because of the way the bacon is flopping over or whatever. So if I wanted to just kind of chop a piece here and get really tight and do something kind of abstract, I have this ability here with the 100mm to do something a little different. Now, again, remember what I said yesterday, and this is an exact example of the scenario I talked about yesterday. Now that I am getting closer, I'm losing light.
Right.
So I have to either open up, which I think I would rather do here because I want to go a little bit more abstract. I'm going to open up my lens to 3.2.
Right. And you can still do that because, again, you've got this blast of light happening. You don't have to drop your shutter speed, as you mentioned.
And get in here really tight. Yeah, there it is. Just that little open up. And it creates that abstract look. And we're still picking up that highlight here on the cheese.
Oh, yeah.
That droopy stuff,
Oh, yeah. Look at the texture and everything is just...
Yeah, it's really cool.
Looks great.
So when you're identifying something on a plate, so this is not styled food. It's what we have. So this is a really good example of, okay, you're asked to go shoot in a restaurant.
Right.
You don't have any control over what's coming out of the kitchen. You don't have any control over what surface you're on. You don't have any control over what plate it's being placed on.
Right.
Exactly the scenario we're in here.
Right.
So when you recognize in the food, okay, look, I'm going to do the best I can with this food, but what's interesting about it? What makes it look something? What could you do with the shapes, the colors?
It's a great question because people are asking specific angles that you can suggest, right?
Yeah. I mean, you just try to find things in the frame that might be interesting to look at and do something a little bit creative. What is it about? What is it about a sandwich like this that,
Right. People, what would make me want to eat this? Right, yeah.
Exactly. So what is the other thing to me, like now I'm looking at this, and now I'm approaching this like a food stylist, right? Because I want to say, okay, I don't have a lot to work with here, But what's the next logical step in this evolution of this food, right? It's going to be somebody's going to break it apart and eat it or take a big bite out of it, right? So how does that, is that going to look okay? Teeth marks in food, that doesn't really work.
Doesn't work. I was going to ask, like...
Sometimes you could do it with a burger.
Okay.
But most of the time...
Generally, it's sliced clean, right? You don't want to necessarily... But crumbs and things can work, right?
That's right. So if you break things apart... Yeah. So I know I like this little section here. Right? I know I like what I have there. Yeah. So what I might do here is start to just kind of fudge it a little bit. Grab a few pieces from the other side. And so I'm not completely messing this up.
By the way, Andrew, so people are asking, they're asking about color temperature. So obviously we're going for daylight, but now I was going to ask you, with regard to that, do you have the mark for white balanced for daylight?
No.
Okay.
What I do is I use AWB almost all the time.
Okay, yeah.
And I like to do it in post.
Right.
Because I think that there wasn't always a time where you could do that.
Right.
But there is now, we find that with that, you can do it in camera if you want, and if you're used to doing it that way. Okay, pro tip number 2 is food photographer. Always have baby wipes in your bag.
Yes.
Or else you're gonna have a really greasy camera.
That's right, greasy camera, and I imagine just too, right? Yeah, cleaning.
Well, because in food styling, the best tool you have in food styling are already attached to your wrists.
you own them, right?
Yeah.
Claire's asking, does the ambient light lead with the strobe light? Is that not sometimes problematic?
It could be, but not with strobes this powerful.
Okay.
So there could be a blending of the light, but the idea is that if the strobe usually pushes out the ambient light, this is pretty strong. To get in and out of this box and still give me 4.5 at those numbers,
at those settings,
it's popping out all of these lights.
That's right.
So, okay, so I added some crumminess just to kind of, from an artistic perspective, start to discuss visually what's happening here, right? It's like, oh, somebody's eating that, and then all of a sudden it brings it into the real world a little bit more. So we're still on the 100 millimeter. We're still going for that abstract look. And that may be, I think I need a little more space.
A little more, yeah.
I want to get the whole crumb, and maybe I don't want that much fill. Let's experiment, and let's see. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's a little bit more romantic. Mm-hmm. It's a little underexposed, which is fine. Right. We like that.
And that was a point you made yesterday too.
Mm-hmm.
Always underexposed.
And we got some highlights that we like. It's kind of picking up the flakiness of the croissant. We're getting the cheese. That little droopy kind of shape there, and then the crumbs indicating that maybe somebody's already enjoying this.
That's right.
So we're kind of building a narrative with your food photography. Right. So when I'm doing a full photo shoot from start to finish, how the food is being prepared, there's lots of beauty there.
Yeah.
When the food is completely plated and ready and perfect. Right. And then the process of it breaking down
to being consumed.
Being consumed. Mm-hmm. This narrative kind of is natural for the way we experience food, so it's obviously it resonates with people very, very readily.
Is there anything, someone just asked, is there anything more standard, like the full plated perfect looking food versus the, like, is there?
I look at it as a continuum.
Okay.
So it depends on the food.
Right.
Sometimes the best shot you get is the pork chop on the grill pan.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes the best shot you get is the eggs being whipped for the gratin, because gratin is really hard to photograph.
Right. Okay.
Or the chopped up vegetables or whatever. So the idea is that if there is some sense of continuance in the narrative of what you're telling, you could tell a whole story with one picture.
Right.
So
that's great.
Let's look and see what the folks are saying.
Do you cook completely for food?
Such a good question. Yeah. Sir Gray, you're on to us. Sometimes we'll undercook the food a little bit. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then in things like big things like meats and turkeys and stuff like that. Turkeys especially, that's the classic example.
Okay.
Because once a turkey becomes fully cooked, the flesh underneath the skin shrinks.
Right.
Which makes the skin wrinkly.
Right.
So if you want that beautiful plump turkey look,
right,
you have to take it out probably like
an hour or two early.
Yeah, maybe 2/3 of the way.
Okay.
Because now the skin is brown.
Right.
And it looks beautiful.
And I imagine with vegetables, things like broccoli, if they're cooked right, they're losing some of that vibrant green.
Well, the cook and splash. Right. So you get a bowl of cold water. So the bowl of cold water is your greatest friend with food styling for everything green.
Okay.
So we come back from the market, right? And first thing I do is I lay out 3 bowls on my countertop, fill them with ice water. Mm-hmm. In go the herbs, in go the vegetables, in go anything else that might be green or vegetables that could wilt under the hot.
Right.
Especially stuff you get from the farmer's market because it's been out in the sun.
Sure.
And it's still really fresh and nice, but it needs to be refreshed.
That's right.
So we do that, or when we're cooking vegetables, we'll steam them really quick and then throw them into ice water so they retain their color and their shape. Pasta, little undercooked.
Right.
Want it al dente.
That's right.
Which isn't necessarily, that's how I like to eat my pasta.
Right, I was gonna say, that's how I eat it anyway, but yes.
But yeah,
Also good
so it holds
food
its
styling.
shape.
Yeah.
So all of those things are little food styling kind of tips that really help. They're not, there's lots of food styling tips. Sure. There's pro tips all the way up to the point where you're recreating food with stuff that isn't food.
Right.
Which we don't like.
Right. But I love that question because, you would think, does it have to... Oh, and someone's asking, do you ever make something look hot with dry ice? Now, you talked about this yesterday, yeah.
2 things. We've done steam... I do steam shots in real time. I've done steam shots with a steam machine, and I've done steam shots with dry ice.
Right.
So all of the above. Any steam is good steam. Okay. We don't...
And the look effectively...
It's the same.
The same, right, yeah.
Yeah, smoke and steam or smoke and steam. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't, grease up your range hood.
That's right. Prasad is asking how to master the pizza pull shot.
Okay, here's how it actually...
I wish we had some of that, too.
This is how it actually happens. Maybe we do that tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
I have a laundry list of things I would need for that.
We need for that, but okay.
I can make it work.
We'll see if we can make it happen.
So here's what happens. They make the pizza. So this is what happens on the commercial level. They make the pizza, they cut it, they stick it back in the oven, let it reheat for just a few, like a minute or two, pull it back out. Now the cheese is remelted over the cuts, and then they pull it. Right. And sometimes it does it by itself, because you get that when the pizza's super hot, especially when the crust is thicker. Right. The pizza itself will retain heat. You cut it immediately, it melts back, and then you pull. Right. So that's how you master the pizza pull shot.
Okay. That's excellent.
Andrew, are you going to need ice soon?
When we start talking about drinks, that's when I'll need them. Thanks, Gus.
All right.
So how's that?
So great. Yeah, Pizza Pull Friday.
All right. Well, yeah, it is pizza. Pizza is a Friday thing.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
So I want to still play with this just a tiny bit more and see what we can get out of it. Here's what I would do in this. Well, we'll do it later.
Okay.
We're gonna do that in
in
post production.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play with this just a tiny bit more,
so
and
we're doing with some angles
we're doing just fine on time.
Oh yeah, we're doing great on time.
We're not at 1 hour yet. I want to give all the good people.
Pavel says, the pizza pull, only with New York style pizza from Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Best pizzas on Staten Island, people. All right? I'm going to go on record right now. You want to debate...
You got family in Staten Island, don't mess with Staten Island.
You want to debate me, that's fine. Right. We don't have a lot in Staten Island, but we do have the best pizza in New York. It is the pizza. You're gonna get engaged in the pizza wars now.
So Aisha's asking, when you're plating the food, how do you decide to set the table?
Well, the propping kind of starts at the very beginning. It's part of that pre-production planning stage where I know what kind of look and feel I want. So if I want a rustic feel, I want a diner feel, I want a dining room table in the middle of the winter feel. All of those things go into the...
It's all pre-produced, yeah.
It has to be, because if I'm looking to do something seasonal, which is very important in food photography, understanding your seasons and presenting food that is associated or affiliated with a season has to be color appropriate, light appropriate, tone appropriate. What I mean by that is winter light's different than summer light.
Right.
And if I want to do some sunny, bright day with some drinks, which we might play around with later, I may have a look and feel of that may exploit shadowing, which I don't usually use, right? But when you have nice long shadows on a bunch of drinks that have kind of
sweaty and beautiful.
Exactly. Right.
It feels like summer.
It feels like summer.
But when it's, you get that kind of soft gray light on like rich, warm wood and like autumn colors, then all of a sudden we're in fall. Right.
Okay.
So it's you can tell that's again that narrative story with one image has to do with all of the components and pieces that you pull into it.
And a lot of that seasonal shooting is actually sort of creating that atmosphere. It's not,
Totally. Okay, so what I want to start to do here is we're going to leave our croissant sandwich maybe for later, and I can kind of show you. You can come live over here with yesterday's muffins.
Okay. You can see some of the food from yesterday is no longer here.
Yes, we ate. We
ate it.
We
that's
ate
right.
it.
Yeah. That's right.
We ate it.
The whoopie pie is still here, though. I thought that was going to be the first to go.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to take me a minute to set up, and I'll talk through as we go.
And you've got a couple more here.
And we can I can totally answer questions as I'm doing that.
Do you decide? Let's see. Do you decide according to the food or the viewer you are targeting to eat the food?
Yes. Yeah, because if our client says we're aiming at a younger audience, that's going to influence the styling and the propping and whatever else we're doing. If we're saying, okay, well, this is these are holiday, like this is a Christmas or a Hanukkah story.
Right.
We got to kind of pull appropriate colors, appropriate things that are
and maybe
relative.
a bit more traditional. I mean, you wouldn't have like eaten turkey in a holiday shoot.
But I mean, when you start doing things like, oh, we're in the Caribbean,
right?
So I did a story on Cajun. I did some stuff on Cajun food.
Oh, nice.
In New Orleans, and my experiences there have been when I've eaten in people's homes, particularly Cajun people, is this shabby chic look.
Right.
It's this very shabby chic look. So when we built out that shoot, we were using propping and silverware that was mixed matched and all these different things. And it was fun, and it actually read well. And we used a Beta beer in it because a Beta is a local brewery. So
it really felt like the environment.
Well, I know that with New Orleans, especially, you don't want to mess with their food. So if you're going to do it right.
Right.
And that was you should do everything that way. But,
yeah. And yes, Adam was just saying the angles I've been doing are the way Jeffrey angled because he was shooting. It's also a tall dude shooting like from way above like this. So yes, implementing some of Wade's technique here today.
Okay, so let me get some of this out of the way so I can start moving stuff around.
I think I know what I'm going to have for lunch today. Looking at that. It's staring at the.
I'm selling the.
That's right.
Selling the cafe food.
That's right.
Come to Adobe Cafe. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this as my primary light over a little bit.
Do you need help with that?
I think I can handle it. That's all right. So, once I move this over a little on an angle, and this is how we just did a commercial job where we were just trying to get some really clean, kind of silhouettable images. And now if we don't know what silhouettes are, it's when you shoot things against white or another solid color so that an art director or somebody can actually take the image and lift it from that environment and drop it somewhere else. Okay. Contortions by Scrivani.
Someone's asking, what do you think about mood boards?
All the time. Pinterest is a really good option too.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. You see a lot of food stuff on Pinterest.
The only reason I have a Pinterest account right now is because of mood boards.
Okay. There you go.
Art directors love them. So we still have a key light and a secondary light here. I'm not gonna take this down and create two exactly the same light. I still want it to feel directional, although I need it to be more balanced. So by getting another stand out here and putting a filter in front of this, it's going to be... Oh, it's behind you.
Yeah, I was going to say this.
No, I need the...
black one?
No, I need the stand first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right. That one. But I need to put a knuckle on it.
Oh,
Oh, that one then.
Okay.
I buried it.
Hold on, got sandbags. Got it?
I can pull it this way.
Okay.
How not to destroy electronics. Great. And then if you want to hand me that opal.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Full in the way.
Kent is asking, do you ever use a light table for silo shots?
Silo, yeah.
Silo?
Yep, Silo. Yep,
Okay.
I do. I did a whole course on light table photography on Creative Live a few years back, and it was fun. We did some really cool stuff with it.
Oh, right.
So I built the light table on set. I actually built it to show people how to make one. DIY light table.
Any books you can recommend to read about food photography?
Yeah, the one I'm writing. Due out soon.
That's right. Available on Amazon.
Actually, it's a tough subject to find good literature on.
Yeah.
And I'm actually in negotiations with a company right now to write a book.
Now, of course, it's also, people can find a lot of your work on Adobe Stock.
Yes.
And I imagine it's under your name.
It is.
So that's a key thing there. If you want to get some further inspiration outside of what we're shooting here live, you can just go to Adobe Stock, which is, of course, integrated directly into Creative Cloud, and search for Andrew Scrivani there, and you'll be able to find a lot of his work. Check it out there.
I'm going to borrow some of their white paper. Or maybe we'll use some of their red paper. We already got some here.
Yeah?
We're just going to steal a little red paper.
Yeah.
If we can get a scissor or a knife.
Oh, yeah. The scissor is on the table.
So.
It was. It's lingering. Got it. Oh, we got it. It's here.
Cool.
We won't be using the. It's just rolls. That's all right. That's okay.
Log roll.
Great. Okay. Cameras on.
Let's try this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just make a little bit of a colored surface here.
We're using some flamingo, which, as Michael and I were discussing before, the GoPro. If you look behind you, it's turning this the same color red as the sandbag. It's color balanced. The GoPro itself is color balancing that. So that, look at that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Pure red. Oh, and they've got your link in the chat for your stuff.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Cool.
people are already checking it out.
All right.
Nige is asking, where does the main source of income come from in food photography? Magazines, menus, advertising agencies? It's probably a complex
I would
answer
say
there.
editorial.
Editorial?
Yeah, because it's the most. The thing is, it's the most consistent and steady work for most food photographers is editorial work.
Okay.
It's you can make a great living as an advertising photographer if you can get that much work.
Right.
It's really, it's not easy to break into advertising. Once you do, you can make a lot of money, but you have to make your bones in editorial work a lot of the time.
Right.
It's just because it's more plentiful.
Right.
It's a way. It's also more artistic. You have a lot more freedom.
You have more freedom in editorial versus.
Yeah, totally.
Alright, so we've got some flamingo going down on the.
Yeah,
on the table.
we're just messing around. Having some fun.
Flamingo.
That's on the GoPro.
That's right.
GoPro is not-
Yeah, no. On the GoPro, it just looks. It's fun. It looks exactly the same red as the sandbag. Yeah. So someone's saying, oh, it's Judah says, Stock says you've worked on filming. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I direct television commercials. Maybe a few of them you've seen for companies like Bumblebee Tuna, Outback Steakhouse. I just did one for a new project by Kraft that's still a little bit top secret.
Nice.
But yeah, I've done that kind of work. I really enjoy it. And I'm going to try something here.
All right. So we've got
I need to get my other lens back.
ice water. All right.
Oh, well, it's my test.
That's right. What again, the GoPro is like. How was that? I was gonna say, the red wasn't glitching though because it's not red. So we don't have the pink. There's a little bit of pink coming through in the color balance of the GoPro.
All right.
Alec is saying he's too jealous of your clicks. Too jealous. Very nice. All right.
All right, that's one light. Well, I'm going to get this other one on. Let's do that first, actually.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. All right.
Yeah. So this one light effect that's coming in at that 3/4 angle, like we kind of did yesterday, except I'm doing it in reverse now. I have the angle, this key light coming in on an angle sideways, but you can see in the background that my paper is not tucked under the table. So I'm going to do that so that it doesn't.
Flattening this maybe.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Nothing gaffer's tape can't.
Man, you're making my job easy.
Yeah. I like gaffer's tape. I actually do art projects with it on the walls of my studio.
Adam Fox is saying, please tell us you didn't direct the Outback Steakhouse commercial with the steak bubbling like crazy on top.
Wasn't my decision.
That's right. Because you were talking about this yesterday.
Well, actually, you know what though? The part of the commercial that I actually was responsible for was where it was actually on the grill.
On the grill, right. All right, truth be told.
Truth be told.
All right, yep.
It's safe to say I'm not working with them right now.
Well, okay, fair enough. Right.
That's okay.
If you watch the replay from yesterday, you can hear Andrew's comments on, the overbubbling of certain cooked foods.
Okay, the reason I put this here is so I'm not making rings on my paper right now before I'm ready for it.
Right.
Once I'm ready for it, it's okay. But I wanted to just go over this this is a similar look that we got with the daylight yesterday, where the light is kind of creeping in from one corner of the frame. And then I want to show you what's going to happen when I put on the other light.
Okay.
And we'll see.
All right.
But are we really good pictures from stock? Thank you.
Do you use real ice or prefer the fake one?
Oh, real ice.
Always real?
Real because it's sweat. Look, you could do it two ways.
Right.
You can get synthetic ice cubes, throw them in, and spray
spray
the bottle with glycerin and water.
Right.
And it looks like that, and it'll stay like that all day.
Right.
Or you could do it real.
Right.
And you got to change it out every 10 minutes.
That's right.
It's just a matter of what it is you want.
That's right.
So I'm going to go right here. I want to show you something. I might have to get the 100. Oh, well, yeah, that's really blown out. Okay, that's because I'm still at...
Oh, you're still in F35?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
So, I could actually allow a little bit more light into that. I closed it down maybe a little bit too much, but to show that the sweat and on the edge of the glass. See, this is the kind of stock and trade of beverage photography, is getting those kind of emotional cues that people have. When you're thinking about sitting on your porch on a hot day or sitting at the beach, and you're able to kind of take that condensation off the glass and maybe rub it on your neck. These are the kind of, again, telling those kind of little stories.
Now what about this? Because this is like a textured glass too.
Yeah, it's the other thing I like to do is this.
Okay, so this is a top down without the FOBA.
Yeah, I'm just standing.
Yeah, still made possible.
See now, look at the difference. We don't have any light bouncing through and around that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's totally flat. So just the idea of the angle of your body and the angle of the way the lights are positioned is going to give you all kinds of different opportunities. Yeah. So let me just test one more time with this.
Yeah, we're still using the single light setup.
Yeah. This one's kind of cool too because it's pulling in the color of the paper into the glass.
Through the glass, yeah.
So, just to understand the way light will play with different objects or different textures or different, liquid, solid, gas.
Right.
We work in all those things. Okay, I'm going to turn on the secondary light, try to balance out my lighting.
Rob Thomas is asking, what is your favorite food to shoot and then eat?
Dessert.
dessert. Excellent.
Italian food too.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Did I ask you yesterday? What's your specialty? Your cooking specialty?
Oh, Italian food.
Yeah,
my blog, the blog I wrote for years, which is now kind of just in like freeze mode.
Freeze mode, yeah.
Is called Making Sunday Sauce. My company that I formed as a photography production company is Sunday Sauce Limited. Mm-hmm. So my Sunday sauce is my signature food.
Your signature. Okay.
Yeah, it's not mine. It's my great.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's a grandparent or something like that.
So now I got these lights kind of angling in from both sides, and I'm gonna shoot it straight on, and I want to take a look at the way now we create this kind of balanced. And remember what I said about that summer look, right? Yeah. So if I wanted to really exploit that, I think I'm going to just mess up this paper because I'm tired of looking at that.
Sure, let's do a little before. Yeah, so on the left we've got the single light.
Hold on. I'm coming. Sorry, people, I'm trying to make this look cool. Dropping stuff. Okay, so I'm just drying the bottom of this cup because I really want to just put it here because I want to work now with this lighting to show how we're getting these kind of hard shadows and maybe get that kind of real summery look. Okay. And then what I was trying to explain before is this kind of straight look where we have light coming in from two sides. I want to show you something too. So that gives me that, which is still, I think, a little, we got way too much light happening. That's a little better. I'm going to take a meter reading, because I'm curious as to what this is bouncing at.
And I'm noticing, as you mentioned in advance, the shadow here is significant. Yeah. Or significantly different than what we're seeing.
Yeah, well, we're trying to... So 5.5, 5, 6, yeah, we're fine. Right there. Okay. So if I want to fill back on that, front side with the strobe, I can do what I did yesterday, where I build this little tunnel.
Yep. Before you get there, so Aisha was asking, and I have an answer to this too, but do you use the same principles when you're shooting video as you do for still photography?
Mostly. I mean, I think the lighting technique for steady lighting is very similar for me, so it's not that different. I think maybe for some people it might be, but also the way you shoot as far as your camera settings and things are a little bit different.
Sure. Yeah.
But for the most part, I would say the principles are the same. Okay. So if this was a solid object, and light wasn't coming through and breaking through the glass, we may not get as much of that shadowing. But this is what I was looking for with that kind of summer look with that. So if I'm looking at a solid object, I can also swing around. If I was shooting it this way, we're going to see something dramatically different, I believe. Which is a much different look, but also getting that. That's an evening cocktail shot, right? Where the light is kind of coming through the whatever bourbon, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try.
Which we have in the back, by the way. I was gonna say we do have some whiskey in large bottles.
We do.
Yeah.
So we have any on the rocks glasses?
Oh, it looks like we just inspired another part of the shoot. Also taste testing.
Taste testing. Yeah. All right. You're gonna do that? Great. So, while we're doing that, I'm gonna teach you another food styling trick. And then maybe we can take a shot. All right.
Okay. These, we're choosing beer bottles over here. Just
It's a complete. That's not beer.
And you've got the. Okay, yeah, you have the kombucha. Okay, yeah.
Is this is Anchor Steam a twist off?
Good question.
Don't think so.
Okay.
Who's got a bottle opener? This is.
Sorry, shoot before. Or good.
Well, let's shoot the bottle.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to do this red anymore either.
Okay.
It's reading really weird.
On YouTube, you see so many tricks to open.
I know. I feel like I should know that.
What's that?
Tricks to open bottles.
I know how to do it. I just don't have keys with me.
Oh right, yeah, no, exactly. Neither do I. Stephen Cerise is asking, do you ever work with colored?
We'll wait. Let me do this. Colored what?
Colored lights.
No.
No.
I don't. I haven't. That doesn't really apply to what I do for the most part. So it's not. It's never really been part of my repertoire to do that.
And for the reasons you mentioned, it's going to take away the natural
sort
of look of the food itself, right?
So I feel the amount of room, the space we have at this point, at this juncture,
right?
It might be a little. This is becoming a little bit. I want to see what happens when I come here. I feel like I'm totally backlighting this, and I don't necessarily want to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to.
Need me to help you scoot that?
No, I can do it.
Yeah.
I just this like that.
Get the perspective here.
Yeah. Because now we're moving away from trying to get a daylight look and trying to get something a little bit more commercial. So we're swinging around to that flatter side of the light where I'm shooting sort of with the light or just shooting randomly in the air.
I'm not even looking. Right, yeah. We're doing the Austin Powers. By the way, Rob Jenner III, aka Rob Zilla, says, this is one of the best Adobe Live sessions that I've seen in quite some time. This is so effing dope.
Dope!
Love you, Rob.
That's too flat. And we're going to swing around. Too flat. So we're going to give you a comparative look of all the angles with this light.
Yeah.
Now it's too dark. Okay, need a timeout. Oh, here's our ice.
Ooh, okay.
Do you
Great.
want to hold over there?
No. Give me one glass. I'll take one from you. Great. And let me have one. Let me have that pinkish colored liquid. Yeah.
It's hibiscus tea.
Woo. Fancy. Okay. Part of my issue here is I'm not loving this second light because I do not have enough space to work with it.
Right, okay.
So we're going to go back to our single strobe setup for this
Okay.
and try to get that summer cooler look and see what we can get here. Summer cooler look needs to be much flatter. I mean, much more open. And there we're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting it. Now we're getting
Oh,
somewhere.
yes. Yeah, look at that.
Now we're getting somewhere.
And yeah, hey, Paul Tranny's in the house. What's up, Paul? Yeah, we were just talking about Andrew's contributions to stock, and you're also one of the premium providers of the stock content. Featured last year at Max.
Yes.
So and still
And still.
and still to this day.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
So-
Look at that now.
Yeah, so we're getting that angled kind of light look creeping in from the side. If I were styling this for a job, obviously my surface would be different, my glassware might be different. All those choices would add to the composition.
But you nailed it so quick. But I mean, immediately, if I just saw that on a page, I'd assume this was in someone's, kitchen table, 10 a.m. light coming in through the window. I mean, it's there. It feels like it, and it feels like it's July.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting that light quality now that we like.
Yeah.
And getting the texture of the ice, and you could play the light off them. You could see now. Remember yesterday I talked about like kind of stalking the table.
Right. Yeah.
So like here I'm seeing.
Hashtag. Yep. Stalking the table.
It's harder with strobe.
Okay.
Because you have to basically look at the picture you took before rather than look through. But once you've kind of see where the light is bouncing,
right,
you can kind of angle your body in a way
to get the sweet spot.
Definitely.
Andrew, you're going to be at Max this year?
I would love to be at Max this year, and if they'll have me, I'll be there.
Okay.
Oh, I got to come and at least see you perform.
Oh, right. Thank you.
So now I'm just playing around. I'm going to just kind of continue to try to find some angles that I like. Now, I like that. But what I'm finding is I'd like it to be a little bit brighter and a little bit sunnier. So if I swing around over here, and without changing my exposure, you can see just moving into the light a little bit more.
Yeah, really just
looks kind of nice. But if I come down and I angle this way, yeah, this, and again, remember what I said yesterday about how I have an issue cantering the camera?
Yeah.
It's crooked.
Yeah.
And I'm trying now to make an adjustment here.
Right. This is a big point that Andrew made yesterday about sort of getting that, getting things level in the camera while taking the shot. It can be fixed afterwards, but you like to get it right.
I'm getting closer.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Now I'm going the other way. Doing this live.
That's right. That's right. Hey, man. You know. I love it too because yesterday it was like 5 shots. Now you're really getting experimental. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Hold on. Watch this. Let's see what we get. Yeah. See, like this. This next one.
Oh, I love this.
I'm gonna work with that in post because I would crop. This is sort of Instagram-ish.
Well, and I was gonna say this feels like kind of classic Architectural Digest, you know,
right?
Upstate New York summer home photography. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really feels like that too.
So, and then if I go completely blown out backlit, I want to show you that too. Well, that's a little crazy, but I know.
Oh.
So that is
okay. Oh wow.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
Getting a little better.
And you see a lot of this too now, right? The sort of.
Yeah, I do this. This is one I've done a lot in beverage photography because backlighting beverages is beautiful.
Right.
But the trick is see, like right now the fact that I can see the texture.
That's right. I was gonna say you can see the all
so
the
it's this is where now. This is a good example of what making adjustments on the fly. Okay, so what's wrong with this image is that I can see the ripples in my curtain.
Right.
And what that means is that I either need to move further away from it at this depth of field or lower the light and go deeper. So let's try this first.
Now there's a question too. Would you ever just mask and replace the white background?
I mean, you can because it's a silhouettable image.
Right.
But if I want to get this right in camera, because I like my setting, see now that's much closer, but I could still see stuff going on in the background. So first I can try to adjust that because and give it a more natural straight background here.
More clips.
Yep.
And yes, Jess, this is the 50mm macro lens. The classic.
The classic.
Not made anymore.
Yep. Okay, so now we're much closer. The background feels like it's kind of dropping away. I could probably push that out a little bit more in post. But I'm definitely getting the penetration of the light through the glassware.
And now you've totally lost that. The wrinkles are gone. I mean,
yeah.
You're not capturing those at all.
Yeah, and I can continue to work toward that where I just take a little bit. I'm at the max now at 200 for my shutter for the sync, and I'm at 5 for my. And I'm gonna get a little closer as well. which will also change the depth of field. Yeah, so I mean, it's pushing the boundaries of being a little bit too bright.
Right.
But I think the information is still there where I could probably push the color saturation on this, which is something we didn't get a chance to do yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
And make something a little bit more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing glassware photography, where you put your focal point really matters. And sometimes shooting right into the glass is a good thing, and sometimes it is not. So you have to kind of see where the focus lands when you do that. See, now the focus for me here looks okay, but it's still, if you don't, sometimes you want to focus on the middle of the glass and then drop down and see if that gives you something different. See, now look at that sharpness of the ice on the top in this next image. Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of those highlights popping off the top of the glass and off the ice. This is kind of, that's the whole idea with beverage photography.
It's refreshing. Right?
It's refreshing.
And it's like you said, and you've got all the specular highlights, but you can still see the detail, the edges. It's, you know, like you said, it's right on the edge, but
it's close.
But it's all there.
It's all there.
It's all there. Yeah.
See now, look how different the light looks when you go over the top again. All right, so can you add a bottle to the composition to see how it would work in a commercial? Yes, because we're going to do that right now. Did we find a bottle opener? Oh. Well, or somebody who can open a bottle of beer. If you can do that, we'll be eternally grateful.
Oh, wait, I do have one.
Okay. So we're going to show you.
On the bag. Look at Gus.
Boom, baby.
Going to show you something now.
A true fisherman always has a bottle opener handy.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Is that Adobe branded? Did I just see that right?
It's got a light on it too. It's pretty.
Oh, nice. I didn't see nothing.
What are you talking about?
Right. I didn't see nothing.
Did I just hit the monitor with that?
That's all right.
I'm
another
gonna
one.
Actually, I might sample some
Yeah.
hibiscus tea.
I was gonna say, getting very thirsty. Yesterday you were making us incredibly hungry. Now I'm super thirsty.
Blue Powerade, anybody?
That's what that is. I thought that was the Star Wars drink.
That's for when we get dehydrated.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Okay, beer, and I'll do it with the bottle, the way we might see it in a composition in a commercial, and then I want to show you what happens with beer once we lose the head. See, this is very foamy beer. I know you bartenders out there are telling me I'm pouring this incorrectly, which you are right, because I want the head, and I will wait for it.
That's right. Excellent point, though, too. Right, you didn't pour it like you were in a restaurant because you want that, and you want it to settle so you can get it where you need it to be. Ooh, that amber is looking so nice too.
Yeah. Now I wish I had a warmer wood here, like I could work with, because this would go really, really nicely with some warm wood.
Not quite enough contrast between the head and the wood here. Or...
Yeah. I see something over here, but I don't know if I can get this up on the table.
Yeah.
On my table. Check this thing out.
Yeah, I mean, we could sample the apple box. It's a little darker.
I'm cannibalizing.
Okay.
Here we are.
Oh, okay.
I'm carrying tables.
Carrying tables.
It fits.
Nice.
Sweet.
Now, a couple of people I know you just kind of answered it again, but a couple of people are asking if you could kind of reiterate about the angles you're subconsciously deciding to shoot at and if there's any science to it.
Well, I mean, there are three primary angles we shoot at in photography. It's the over-the-top one, which is really more of a graphic representation of food. But then when you slide down to what we call a diner's perspective, looking at what it looks like when you're sitting at the table with your fork and your knife in your hand, that's the money shot for a lot of food photography.
Diner's
because
perspective.
that perspective is the one that everybody's really familiar with. So psychologically, that's one that could very well be that psychological edge you get as a food photographer.
Was that sort of coined in that gourmet magazine era? Was that something that came
the
out of
diner's
that?
perspective? You know, I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are, shooting in a vertical plane this time. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this in a second. Okay, but that is a little. I'm gonna change my and I need a little fill.
Bring out the cards again.
Bring out the cards again, because I want to push back to there. to get a little bit more on that label, or else my client's not going to be happy with me. But it can be out of focus. It just needs to show, yeah, like that, exactly.
Oh, and there's like, what's the third? Over the top, diner's perspective.
Table level.
Table level.
So the two extremes are not usually the way we look at food. That's the artistic kind of approach to it, and then the diner's perspective is the one that everybody's familiar with.
Right.
So right off the bat, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
We're getting some really nice stuff here. I would have to adjust because now my strobe is in the wrong place. As you can see, it's peaking.
That's right. It's peeking there.
Because we moved this card
That's
around so
right.
many times. So let's try that. Get in there. All right, what happened here? We're losing our foam. So what do? Styling trick. You ready?
Okay, yeah. Oh.
Good old.
That's why you wanted the salt.
Good old NaCl.
Uh-huh.
So, salt.
No. Yes. Look at that.
Magic. It's magic.
I know someone's gonna say, was that a teaspoon, a tablespoon? How much it is? That's the Andrew Scrivani special right there. You're gonna have to figure it out, right? Dude, how did you actually hit it completely perfectly though? Just years.
Years of practice.
Years of doing it.
Years of rooting
I don't know if
beer.
everybody just realizes he just completely refilled the head perfectly in 1 second in a shot. Dude, come on.
Ah!
You know?
Okay. There we are. I finally got my strobe head out of the picture.
Yeah.
So, and this surface is actually kind of cool. We found something in the studio. This is part of that. You need to be resourceful in this business. In food photography in particular, you need to be really resourceful with the propping and the things that you have on hand, and because you do so much stuff on the fly when you're working with clients in restaurants and things like that. So it's really helpful to kind of just have a little bag of tricks. I also carry with me, when I'm on a photo shoot where I'm going to have to manipulate food, a little kit with a couple of knives, some chopsticks, some tweezers,
Sure. Okay.
and things like that. A bottle opener.
Right.
This one be going in my kit.
That's right.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Want to see that again? We can do that one more time.
Yeah.
Want to get in close on it?
Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get.
So I'll show you how much I
magic
put in my hand. I only put in maybe half a teaspoon.
Okay. All right.
And
Boom.
and this is also a way to get this shot. The head is holding that up.
It'll make its way through. I see it. There it goes.
It's going. Yeah. So. Action shot.
Oh, nice.
More fill.
Someone's asking, can you do that with a completely flat beer, or does it need to have a bit of a head to work?
It could be totally flat.
That's awesome.
Just
That's crazy. Okay.
It's just chemistry.
Yeah. Okay. Another hashtag.
We got a
dude.
chemistry.
It's just chemistry.
Just chemistry, people.
That's right. Paul says this is the best tip.
Yeah, there we go.
Pavel, go have a beer. Cheers.
Think Anchor Steam would like that picture? What do you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not affiliated with Anchor
Not
Steam.
affiliated.
That's
That's Anchor Steam.
All right. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Silly skater. Now I have a bar trick.
You do.
Rob, does that work for champagne as well?
I think anything carbonated
Anything carbonated
would
okay.
work.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've got, just to keep you on track, we've got about 34 minutes.
Yeah, so I think we should probably head
Segue
over to the
to the
computer
desk.
in a
Okay.
couple minutes, look at some of these in post-production,
Yep.
and then answer any questions about today.
And do some magic in post. Dude,
Totally.
can we just...
We're going to hug it out.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Fantastic tips. Okay, so we're going to segue back, unplug some stuff, and maybe take a sip of that. All right.
shutting everything down so that we okay.
And we're back. No, I'm okay.
Right. Okay.
Cool. All right, so here we are. We can work backwards or forwards, whichever way. But let's see. So we struggled a little bit with this guy, but I feel like we end up, like with a lot of photo shoots, you end up doing a lot of things by trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
So we let's make some selects here.
Right. Oh, I almost forgot about the food at the beginning.
Right.
It made me so thirsty this whole time. Oh.
Okay.
Going. I can't see the comments.
Oh, right. You're all talking to no one on the set right now. I hope you don't mind.
This is heavy.
Aha. Just chemistry.
It's just chemistry.
What a difference. Wouldn't fly too well with the HR department.
Oh. Problems at work. Okay.
Well.
Fair enough.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna look at some of these pictures that we did, and so I'm looking through these, and let's say I just need one sandwich picture. I'm only gonna pick one to work with, and obviously that would be one that could make the cut, but I feel like these kind of abstracts are the ones that I really like the most, and I feel like even maybe the last one we took, I mean, there would need some spot cleanup in some spots. But let's play with this one to start.
Okay.
And let's see where we go. I want to pull my exposure up just a tiny bit because we underexposed. So I do about a third. Then I want to drop those blacks out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we got some drama going on because it really exemplifies. It accentuates.
Yeah. I'm with you.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
It is accentuating these kind of spectral highlights and giving a little bit more drama.
Mm-hmm.
We can just pump our clarity just a bit, and our vibrance and saturation will come more into play here, especially with those greens.
I was gonna say the greens, right? That's that's where you're gonna see it. Yeah.
Ooh, a little too ham-handed on that. Got to be a little bit more delicate. A 5 is probably a good start. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, crumbs are cool. The flakiness of the croissant kind of comes out. Did I say that okay, Michael?
Yeah.
Croissant. You sure? Okay. I don't want to.
It's improved.
Okay,
right.
good. Again, I'm going to go back to my darks here and start to push out a little bit more light in the background. Cool. Shadows, deepen them a little bit. Now we're getting like rich black in that background, which is really starting to look nice. But it's not. We're not losing anything.
No.
Our color.
No.
Color still looks great.
Yep.
Up in here, maybe our darks. Maybe I'll go back.
Is
to
where you're gonna lift some of the shadows, maybe?
just
or?
a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I'll just pull the blacks up, just pull them back up just a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. Instead of being at -20 or something, I'm more like -9.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Getting there. Okay. So if we're gonna work on this, we'd be working on this in Photoshop.
Right.
So let me see if I can do my right clicking.
Or you can just hold Control.
Control. Oh. What happened?
Or you hit Command. Control.
Oh.
Yeah, here, wait. Go to the photo again.
Where did it go? We lost it. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Command click. Aha! I finally, you see, you taught me
That's
something.
right. Edit in. There you go.
Edit in Photoshop. Here we go. Okay. Open anyway. Open it anyway.
That's right.
Does the music seem
right.
loud, or is it just me?
Oh. Yeah, we control that a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so like I already still have my spot healing tool open from last time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just kind of
nice.
start
Okay.
cleaning up my cheese a little bit.
And you were saying yesterday too that, you know, for the most part, it's just the things that kind of get in the way. You still want some of the
The crumminess.
the crumminess and like a couple of those maybe flecks on the table or something that just don't add.
Yeah, they're not adding any
Right.
real value to what we're looking, because anything that takes your eye off the
Right. Away from the
off the
food.
prize
yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's on my screen.
Yeah. I was gonna say I
always
thought I was
food.
going. Why aren't you getting that one?
There's
Yeah,
always
that was
food or something
that's
on
just
my
a
screen.
Fleck on the screen. It's par for the course there. Oh yeah. I mean that right there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is we can do something super abstract with this with a crop.
Right. So yeah. So I was going to ask you that. I think I started to ask yesterday, and we got sidetracked. Yeah. Like, so how often do you do crop selects?
Pretty often.
Right. And
yeah.
you were talking about this because you were saying the frame is so large to be, 6,500 by 4,500 or so. I mean, you've got so much room to work with.
Yep.
Does that often happen when you're delivering? Like you'll deliver a file and say, no, we just want a cropped off
Yeah.
corner or something. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean,
Okay.
and I try to shoot that way too, with the
Yeah.
idea, with the understanding that that's definitely something I can do.
Yeah. Look at how just.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fantastic.
got a really nice texture to
Yeah.
it. It shows what the food's about,
right.
And again, this was bought at the cafe.
Right.
Sat on the set for 30 minutes before we did anything
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
And there it is.
There it is, right.
So
And you said this yesterday too, right? Fresh food. I mean, it's fresh-ish, right? Yeah.
fresh-ish.
Right.
Okay, so I'll save this one for later. As a JPEG, not a TIFF.
Okay.
Because TIFFs are kind of big. Unless your client asks for TIFFs, I don't necessarily think you should worry about that too much. Shortcuts.
Jeff says, the fleck on the screen is the most relatable thing ever. Thank you.
All right, so now this was the challenging one, right? We did a bunch of light tests here with the water. Then we moved on to the tea. This tea.
Right.
And to try to find one I really like, we're going to have to go through these a little bit. And I feel like once we got to somewhere around here, we had that one big clean overhead that was sort of nice. That one.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, and then this one I think I'm going to crop. So we'll do that after I. So before I even touch I'm going to go right to the color saturation tool and kind of push that red as hard as I can until it starts to look weird. Mm-hmm. That's a little weird. So that works, and then we'll just do that. Just a little bit.
Kelsey, food looks so good that I'm feeling hungry. Yep.
Yeah, well, then you're doing the job.
Then you're doing the job. That's right.
So now pulling black in here and this is plastic glassware. So when you're working with real glass,
Okay. Yeah.
I would normally surround my glassware with black cards
Okay.
because you lose the edges and they pick up highlights really fast. So if you put black cards around glassware, it creates a black edge,
Right.
which ends up looking really beautiful. Here we don't have that problem because this is plastic.
It's plastic, right?
So it's not really you have a defined edge. So I'm adding a little bit of black just to kind of highlight that a little bit more. But it doesn't really need much because I have a definitive circle there to work
And
with.
it really looks summery. I mean, just to reiterate again, it really looks like natural light that you would never guess.
Yeah, the diffused light kind of helps. It helps bring back that idea.
And the positioning. Right. Yeah.
So I pumped the highlights just a little bit to get a little bit more directionality.
Right.
And where do we go from here? Okay, and then we're gonna.
So Jess is asking, what color profile are you using in the camera?
Standard.
Standard. Love that.
Standard.
That's right.
Just standard.
That's right.
why the light turns blue in that shot. Which light? Which blue? So I don't have any real spot corrections to do, but I do want to crop this into a square. So I want to kind of make this an Instagram image, let's say. Right? So I kind of think that I could probably get closer to that. So let me go crop again and get a little tighter.
Now, is there a rule for that? Because that's actually something that I've seen too in the shots where, like, right, do you frame out a bit of the glass more artistically?
Yeah, that's what I kind of like to do. I'm trying to create a graphic because I like the four corners with the circle. I play with circles a lot in my work. So I feel like a lot of times when you're able to do this.
Right. Are we cooking some cheese here?
I smell cheese. Dude's eating. You got some nerve.
Going, wow, I'm feeling very overwhelmed with food right now. Oh, nice. Oh, Michael, nice. Damn.
So I'm happy with this. I mean, I think this is kind of a cool shot that we made on the fly, and we played around with the light and showed what you could do with just kind of limited resource here.
Yeah.
And you made a shot that we can be happy about. Yeah. So we'll save this one again as a JPEG, not a TIFF, so that maybe later I'll post it on Instagram. Okay. And back to...
Now, that's a question I have for you because, Instagram compresses horribly. I don't think, that's a surprise to most. So, I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, you even just now, right, you're just saving it kind of as a medium format JPEG.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're going to be transferring it to your phone to upload it onto the thing, you don't want these huge files that are just so you struggle with all the time.
Right. And ultimately... it doesn't make that much of a difference in any case.
No, I mean, if it's super small, then yeah.
Yes, of course, right.
But if... Yeah, I'm going to go right to these because I thought these were fun. Yeah. There's two of these that I like. So there's the close, this one, which we need to straighten out a little bit after we play with these. So you can see that I don't do a tremendous amount of post-production on my stuff, but it does become the thing that makes the difference. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to just absolutely kill it in Photoshop to be good at making what you need. What do we got? Anything up there that I can talk while I work? I try to multitask.
Yeah. So Casey was asking, so you provide JPEGs to your clients over TIFFs?
Depends on what they want.
Cookbooks. For web use?
Yeah, web use, it's JPEGs. Yeah. And for cookbooks and things that are going to go in publication, we have to process very differently, like CMYK, because they want to be able to run it through printing presses and all these other things. So TIFFs work more because there's more information in them.
Sure. Right, you're preserving the greater than 8-bit depth of the image.
Boy, that was a really Adobe thing to say.
That's right. Sorry, I know. You're preserving the 16-bit. Okay. Yes, Oos, Michael worked hard for the food, indeed. Michael was working in that last session. They had him doing a lot. This one's making me very thirsty.
So this definitely needs a little bit of cropping and straightening. So I'm going to open it in Photoshop. There it is. Oh, we're still in that square crop. We don't want that. No. But I do need to kind of come up and then
now, do you usually just eyeball that, or do you ever just use the straighten ruler?
No, I always eyeball it because it feels like I want to look at it from that perspective. But I'm getting really happy with this one. I think this is looking really cool. It's still got a little bit of action happening in here with the bubble when we added the salt to kind of give it a little bit of extra. There's enough of the label and there's enough of the idea of their branding here where you could do something like this in a commercial shoot and then couple it with a pure product shot. But if you wanted to get, this type of a shot where it's more of an appetizing looking picture.
Right.
And then adding in that extra surface that we found laying
Right,
around
the
really
table,
kind of
yeah.
gave us a little bit of texture in here. But the warmth and the color of the beer is exactly the way it looks in real
Right,
life. And
right.
that's really what we're looking for when we're dealing with product.
Okay.
Because we want it to be true to what it is that they're selling.
Right.
And when you go to the bar and you pour it in your glass, you want it to
It's-
look like it did in the commercial.
And you mentioned that yesterday too, right? That's why, typically, and you even said it just now with like the reds, you don't want to overdo it,
Right.
make it artificial, because ultimately then they're selling something that isn't true. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's truth in advertising
Right.
laws
Right.
that we butt up against all the time
Right.
in commercial work.
Have you had stuff like kicked back because?
No, but,
yeah.
well,
you're pretty subtle too, so I imagine.
Well,
not, but-
it's not even that. It's just that there are people on set who are communicating with
right.
lawyers,
Yeah,
and they'll
right.
take a screen grab and go, "Does this pass muster?"
Right. Okay.
You know,
yeah.
especially with serving sizes. That's a big one.
Right. Okay. Yep. I imagine. Yeah, that looks
The black
fantastic.
upper corner is killing me. I don't know what we're talking about. Black upper corner? Oh, this. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
What is that?
Maybe are we actually seeing the edge of the?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's crop it out.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Psych Olson,
Yeah.
we're fixed. I'll save it again. I wasn't even seeing that. Just because I'm too busy talking. You people are distracting me from my work.
Silly skater. Oh, this is a good question, and you kind of
Yeah.
answered. But why wouldn't you set the bottle as the hero and the glass as the background?
You may.
Yeah.
You may. It just depends on what they want. But right now, I'm going for a food shot. So the food shot is the one with the beer in the front and the product in the back.
And if this were a commercial video, you could imagine like like a rack focus where it's anchor steam. Right,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah,
changing
well, it would be
the
a rack-
focus.
yeah,
but-
that's a
right.
rack focus,
Rack
yeah.
right.
That's exactly how we did it in the last product job I did in motion. Was what we settled in on a food shot and then we racked to the
label
to the
or
label.
whatever. Yep.
Exactly. You crop
Nice.
the picture and you have a black as your BG color. That's why it was black. I love everyone who understands Photoshop
That's
so much
right.
better than I
Yeah.
do.
So when you rotated the picture, oh yes, it was just the background of the canvas. Ah, okay. Yes.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more I want to play with.
Multitask.
We got a few minutes. I
Yeah.
want.
Oh, and Nicole has just entered the studio.
Hi, Nicole.
Boop. What's up? Yeah.
It'll happen.
That's what I was gonna say, right? See what I did there? Okay. Yeah.
did.
It's a Nicole signature. Okay. Oh, got this. Yeah.
So we got a true beauty here. So you see that highlight push?
Right.
That kind of brings that highlight up at the top of the foam.
Right.
That's kind of nice. It's a little blown out, but it works. It adds to that idea.
So as you're doing this, let me ask you: how much do you rely on history at all, or
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do a lot of histogram in camera.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up because I thought about it last night when we were hanging out,
Yeah.
and I was like, I could have said more about reading a histogram.
Right.
And honestly, I started looking at histograms more when I started understanding waveforms in
Right.
video.
right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it started to be like, it dawned on me, well, I can just look at my
Right.
my histogram in camera while
Right.
I'm setting up. And
Right.
even if my viewfinder or my monitor or
Right.
something isn't quite right,
Right.
especially when I'm playing with things like this where I'm really
Right.
pushing the edge of
Right.
blowing my photo out. But as long as that histogram doesn't go off the edge, I go off the edge in the black.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't go off the edge in the white.
Right.
So, okay, we're working a little bit here.
Right.
See that? Ooh.
Do you think that this real look style of the food can sometimes replace for completely the advertising style?
Yes, we're working toward that because it's become so prevalent in social media. People have become so much more tuned to the look. So we're going to saturate this a little bit and give it a little bit more amber, but not too much. Like
Right.
that's just about where I want to be. But it also did something really fun in here and kind of added a little bit more to that glow. So
And once again, you've got some really beautiful symmetry in the corners there. Like the lines, there's something, and you talked about like the architecture.
Yeah.
Right. It's
yeah, I mean, I like to play with the negative space
Right, yeah.
in my frames. I think that it really adds something, whether it be white or black. But I really like the idea of using shape and color in a more traditional sense,
Yeah.
artistically with these kind of things. All right. I'll go to Photoshop because there's a couple of little tweaks I want to make.
You just control click there.
Oh, I'm
sold. Right.
I'm fully sold. I'm down. And there we go. Okay, so I see a few things here that are kind of part of the picture, but are bothering me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I got this one right here.
Right.
My eye just keeps going there.
Right.
So
Just a spot on the bottle or something.
Yeah, it's right, and it, just a tiny little bit of cleanup that makes a big difference.
Yep.
And then also over here, these little specks down here that are pulling my eye down.
Yeah.
And those little details matter. Some of these are okay. Some of these are okay, but I want to focus it in here.
Right.
Right.
Got a little tornado action going on.
Yeah,
there.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. But the darker spots, you're right. They detract a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So I think that we're about done with here too. So like I said, very
Yeah.
light.
Light processing.
I like this dark edging on the
it's
bottle.
Fantastic. Yeah.
We have that dark edging on the glass, which again the plastic provided for us, but normally we would do that with black cards.
Right.
So that really looks kind of cool. So I like this a lot.
There's just great balance to the photo. It's really, really great. Thirst quenching.
Thirst quenching. I know we're gonna have some beer later now. Okay.
Casey says those are flavor spots. Right.
All right. So let's. What do you got? What else you got for me out there? I think the guy with the long hair thinks that Andrew is right. This guy.
And yeah, I guess so. And I do.
Message retracted.
That's right, yeah.
Uh-oh. What did that say?
I don't know.
So, any other food styling questions? Because we still have a few minutes to talk about those things. I know there were some people who asked those questions yesterday. I'm happy to do that, or we can go over these images a little bit more, or any other quick questions about what we did today. Oh, the giveaway. Do we have a giveaway today?
We're gonna do a giveaway, aren't we?
Giveaway.
Yes.
Giveaway.
Okay.
Wake.
And I have the question.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
What is Andrew's signature food that he cooks?
Oh.
It's 2 words.
Or one on my blog.
Or one on the blog, right? If it's correct. All right. Yeah. 2 words though. Andrew's signature food.
Who is paying attention?
That's right.
It doesn't mean I'll come and make it for you.
That's right.
It takes all day.
That's right.
I don't know if I have that much time.
That's right.
Yellow food, blue plate.
Yeah. So again, the name of the signature food that Andrew cooks. Put it in the chat.
Yep.
And
The bot.
the Nightbot will do its magic, and you could be the lucky recipient of a year of Creative Cloud. And oh, look at that! People were paying attention.
Oh,
People were paying attention.
Rob Thomas got it right.
Yeah.
Even with the capitalization.
That's right.
I think you went right to my blog, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they were listening. Okay.
All right, cool.
So keep it coming. Keep it coming.
I can't share the recipe with anybody though, so my grandmother would roll over in her grave.
You said it was great grandmother, right?
Great grandmother.
Yeah. So I've got a great grandmother recipe too. You can probably guess what it is.
Matzo ball soup.
Ding! He just won a year of Creative Cloud.
Right.
Yeah. And her name, Sadie Abramowitz.
And my great grandmother's name, Sadie Milo. Brother from another
Oh my
mother.
God, brother from another mother. Seriously?
Absolutely.
I mean, oh
my
my
great
God.
grandmother's name is Sadie. Well, her real name was Ursilia,
Uh-huh.
but
All
she
right.
went by Sadie.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool name too. It's coming back. I know a lot of my son has younger friends.
Old school
yeah,
names.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
going old school.
All right. Sunday
Could
sauce
you talk
it
more
is.
about shooting products that we be pulled out, cut out, or getting a clean background? Okay, that's called silhouetting. So when you're silhouetting an image, you're usually putting it on a white sweep, what we call a seamless. So basically what you do is you roll down paper the way Lita and Wade did earlier. You roll it down and have it go across the table and then down. So you're creating this kind of seamless look with your white, and then by lighting very evenly on either side, you can get a very clean image that you can take out in Photoshop very easily and drop it into anything in InDesign or any of the products that you're doing graphic work in. And it's really easy.
Nice.
And a lot of my clients on the commercial side like to have a battery of those types of images so they could create different things for different products.
Right. By the way, Rob Thomas happened to be our winner.
Hey, Rob. Good job.
Congratulations, Rob. And again, if you already have Creative Cloud, this will just add an additional 12 months to your existing membership. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for all your responses.
I really liked your work with Carlos Santana.
Right.
That was wonderful.
I knew you were going to say that. What sort of equipment would you take to an assignment for a restaurant shoot?
First, a really big knife to chase the chef away from my table.
Does that ever happen? Do they ever kind of get involved?
What do you mean? It's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
They never? Do you ever get an opportunity where they're not in your face?
They're not in your face, right? Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I have chef friends.
Yeah.
They know. They know how I feel.
You could speak for you.
But the idea is, I would bring. I would first go scout. You always have to go scout a restaurant because you got to know if there's any natural light that you're going to be able to work with, and if there isn't, then I would bring one strobe head, an opalescent kind of flag. They have these other flags that you can make on set. They fold up and they go in a little bag. They're called road rags. They're really good. I use them myself. If you don't have an assistant, you definitely are going to need to bring, light stands and things that, so one light stand for your strobe head, one light stand for your flag, your camera, your lenses, some bounce cards. I think you should be able to be okay.
So 2 questions. One about the cards. Do you ever use silver?
Yes, I showed a silver card yesterday.
Yeah. And Sport Film 35 is asking, what's the hardest food to shoot?
Brown and green, dark greens are very, very bad because they don't have.
There's no specular highlight of any kind.
No, it's just dead. It just eats up the light. So you really have to light those things carefully when you're working with browns and greens.
Do you typically go for like a 45 to 5500 Kelvin?
Still
Still
trying to get the light temperature you want, but it just sucks up the light. There's just no bounce back. So you have to really work hard at it. Okay. And one of the things that we've done in the past, especially with things like spinach, because spinach is really hard, is to find the stem. Because the stem is so you find a little contrast in it, or if you're shooting brownies or cookies or something, you try to find the nut. There's a nut in it, or something that's off color.
Yeah, because it would make sense, like
blocks of brown, blocks of green.
Pumpernickel bread or something has got to be
it's hard.
A super challenge. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Got some people coming in a little late for the sauce. That's right. Yeah.
No, we got the silver. I answered the silver question.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any more questions? So we got we've got 2 minutes left before we have Nicole, who's coming up, who's setting up on set today.
I find French fries difficult to shoot well. Okay, I have a suggestion for you. We are gonna use French fries sometimes vertically in a cup. And I think sometimes by giving it architecture, getting it up off the plate, it really helps. So you think about the way fast food companies have done theirs for years. They put them in that carton. They put them in the carton. They stand them up vertically. Try doing something like that. So like a bistro style would be sort of like a tumbler with a piece of parchment or some
newspaper is kind of coming back, right?
Newspaper or parchment in the cup, and then with the French fries sticking out of it, that's a really nice shot. So you try to do that. What am I doing tomorrow? Why do you want to hang out? Or what we're doing tomorrow is we're going to do something similar to what we did today, except I want to show some lighting, some steady lighting that we could use that where you can toggle back and forth between stills and video. So we're gonna try to come up with a little bit of something for that.
Nice.
So shoot some surfing. Yeah, I like that idea.
Claire's question there. This is something that you spoke to. This is probably our last question. Yeah. What about blue plates to help yellow-orange foods pop?
I still don't like blue.
Stay away from the blue.
Go green. Green, orange, green, yellow works really well in that family. Blue has a tendency to not be very appetizing, so I would try it the other way first.
All right. That's our time, everybody. Andrew, thank you so much. Awesome to see you again. We'll see you back, and just in a couple of minutes, we're going to have Nicole, so stick around for that, and we will see you momentarily. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Okay.